Hello and welcome to the Chanel. My name is Florida Man, South Florida's local girl and premier 6'4" petite drag queen. And today we are here to review and discuss episode 4 of King of Drag. Now, first, I'm going to start off with a little recap of the first 3 episodes, a little mid-season recap, because there's only 6 episodes total. So week 1, our theme was sports and like halftime shows, with our first weenie challenge ever being a sports trading card photo shoot. And then our first main challenge or main heat was the boy bands. And King Molasses dominated this first week, getting the win in both of these challenges of the week, where we lost our pork chop of the season, Tuna Melt, episode 1. So sad, loved him. Episode 2, or rather week 2, our theme was comedy, and we had the Dong Show, based off of the Gong Show, which King Molasses also won. A little suspicious to me, just saying. And we lost one of our Texan kings, Buck Wild. And then in last week's episode, or week 3's episode, we had a theme of fear, give the judges a shock, and we saw Percocets win both challenge of the week, the mini challenge where they painted half faces or half and half faces, and then the main challenge, which was to represent your biggest fear on the runway. And it was a slay. And we sadly lost 2 kings in episode 3. We lost Alexander the Great, and we lost Pressure K. So now we only have 6 left, I believe. That was 4, right, in the first 3 episodes. So now we've got 6 left. And let's get into this week's theme now that we've recapped a little bit. It's so weird having the notes here, because last time I didn't, and it was really, really strange. So for episode 4, we open up with the theme of school, back to school, you know, educational fun, teenage times, I suppose. And our weenie challenge of the week is a trivia competition, which I did not know half the answers to the questions, let me tell you. If you were just as lost as me, that really shows we don't know a lot. But I also don't know that much about like the drag queen stuff. I know maybe a little bit, you know, but I would not have won. Our winner for this week for the weenie challenge is Charles Galen King, and I don't think they got like any kind of like something that would affect the competition. Maybe they got to pick the order for this week, but other than that, I don't think they got like any kind of boost or like extra time or anything. But I really feel like I saw something where it said that they got like to pick the order for the main heat or the beefy challenge. So let's get into the beefy challenge, which the theme matches my makeup. So the theme is sort of a prom night, prom king under the sequin, dressed to the nines, under the sea nautical thing. So it's like a runway challenge, but then you also have to give a speech. So yes, you have to perform the runway and walk around in the look, but then you also have to give your prom king speech in your look. And the judging criteria was set this week as usual, because most of the time they have Sasha Velour in cam, and you have to be wearing a prom look that is obviously like nautical and sea creature-y, and have a good speech. Like it's very cut and dry this week, you know, some kind of tuxedo prom wear, attire with a nautical touch, you know, because there's under the sea is like a very common prom theme in America, at least. And then yeah, give a speech about why you should be prom king, either like in a character and make them laugh a little bit, or like it has to be really heartfelt. I don't think it could be in between. And obviously like you need to have like whichever you're delivering, you need to deliver it. So if it's heartfelt from the heart, it needs to like be with confidence and vigor. And if you're a character, you need to like really make them laugh. So let's get into the performances this week in no particular order. Let's just start with Percocets. I really enjoyed this look. Percocets does like this rainbow fish, like from the children's book type of inspired look, and it's very, very beautiful. I love the hair, I love the makeup. It's probably gonna be in this corner. Love the hair, love the makeup. and he really delivered the look. My only critique of the look, and we're judging two things here this week. We're judging the look and the speech. The only thing about the look is, in his presentation, he had like a fish stick, which he was referencing like the South Park thing. He had like a fish stick that was sitting like on a podium pedestal thing with like tartar sauce, and I wish he had it as a reveal in the costume, because he had a reveal and then like attached the tartar sauce to it, is what like we saw as the audience. So who knows, maybe this was edited weird, but I wish he would have had the fish stick there and like revealed to it and then got the tartar sauce and started spreading it, rather than having the fish stick there and going to it, if that makes sense. And then for his speech, he gave more of like a heartfelt speech, but the only problem was his delivery. Like, it didn't feel like he was the most confident. You could kind of hear his voice being like shaky. Maybe he's not the best public speaker, you know, but he did have a good speech, and I liked what he was saying. I liked the angles, and I liked the look overall. Like, I would say this was a slay for me. It was giving a prom look. It was super under the sea themed, and I liked what they were saying. It was just the delivery was off, so I'd maybe give it like a 3.5, maybe 3.5, maybe a 4. I don't know that anyone tonight will be getting a perfect score from me. I don't know, so that's why I'm like debating, like, let's just say 3.5, because the only thing was the delivery, really, and that would have shot it up to like maybe a 4.5 or a 5. Whomst knows? I pooped in your stations, but whomst. I pooped in one of your stations, but whomst. That's Poppy's like mirror message line, Princess Poppy on Drag Race. Anyways, moving on from King Percocets, let's go into Big D next, who I kind of, again, love their performance. So they're doing like this nautical fisherman type of thing, and they come out in the big yellow raincoat, which I guess is their prom tux coat. But they reveal to like the like waiter like boots and like the overall type of things and like this fishnet. And it made me laugh so hard, because they're like this old man, but then they have this fishnet and they're spinning around like they're at a Stevie Nicks concert. It's so funny. The look overall, it is on the level it needs to be. Like, pieces were sprayed metal and there's bedazzlement everywhere, and technically there was a coat or a jacket, so I did like those parts. It could have been a little bit more prom themey, but then with the speech, that's what sells it though, because they're doing a character of like this old man who's like a super senior. They've been in high school so long that they just this old, with this long beard, and I really enjoyed it. I like the character. I laughed a lot, and we saw that the judges did appreciate the good laugh, and so do I. I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5, just a little bit above Percocets, because like the delivery, the entertainment value. I'm sorry, but I love Perk. I love you, Perk. Come visit me, baby. All right, so let's move on to Henlo Bullfrog. Oh, my baby. I love their outside of the box, kooky, crazy drag. So Henlo possibly had the strongest look, if not the best look this week. It was this neoprene prom tuxedo, but their hair is shaped like a shipwreck and they've got coins falling out everywhere. And instead of doing a character, not even their like drag character that they normally do, but like they are fully themselves when they're speaking, and it's fully like earnest and from the heart. And we've seen Henlo kind of going on this journey. They started in the bottom, and then they're like doing well, doing better, and then bam, like this is their moment to really shine. Because last week in the challenge, in episode 3 for the Fear, they did do pretty good, but they didn't get into the top. So this week, I would say, actually, Henlo is my only person that would get a 5 out of 5. Their outfit was superb. It was on the level. It had a concept. It conveyed it. It was giving prom as well as nautical. And their speech was really good. They were really confident. They kind of did what Perk did, but better. So I'd give them a 5 out of 5, which is, I mean, girl, perfection, darling. So yeah, love that. Next up, let's go over Charles Galen King, who won the the weenie challenge this week. And Charles's outfit is giving me prom, because it's kind of like this more vintage style, like with the pompadour, whatnot, and very much like kind of referencing like a zoo suit. Like it's definitely representing Charles's Latina heritage, which I love. And they're like have this kind of character, but they're also dressed as the Black Spot, which I guess is like the plague as they're referring to, but it's like what they call the plague on a boat. Which I didn't get the reference, but that should not impact the scoring. I would say I got their concept as some kind of like plague disease, or like you kind of have to like something involving Davy Jones. I don't know. But their speech was not funny enough to kind of like save them, because they had a character and the character was kind of funny, but there was just no big laughs and there are no like big jokes. So if you're gonna go the funny route, it's gotta be really funny. So I'd probably give them like a 2.5, maybe a 3, probably a 3, because I think if they had workshopped it a little bit, maybe it could have worked. It could have been funnier, you know. So let's give her. I call everyone her. I'm so sorry if I misgender these kings. It's not my intention. I would give him a 3, maybe a 2.5. Yeah, I don't know, but whatever y'all think. Let's let the audience decide. So next up, let's talk about a Dick Von Dyke DVD. And they did like an octopus, like a red squid, red octopus, like a vampire, the vampire octopus. That's what it was. A dragonfly. So I like this look. It was giving you prom tuxedo, but a little bit like Knights of the Round Table. Like it was kind of giving you a little bit of like a medieval Ren Fair fantasy world vibe, but at the same time it was very much giving you like prom attire. And I liked all the details. It had like lots of little like fringes and pom-poms and stuff on it, and like colors and all the like octopus or squid like tentacles. And then the speech was really, really funny. I loved it. The presentation was also really, really funny. So I'd say the costume probably could have been a little bit stronger. But yeah, I'd probably give them a 4 out of 5 as well, because it could have just been tweaked up a little bit maybe, but it was pretty good. I liked it, but I'm biased because I think DVDs are hot. So I think we only have one person left, and that would be King Molasses. And if you watched the episode, you already know what's tea, and if you haven't, you're about to find out. King Molasses did not understand the assignment, or maybe they thought it was a looser interpretation allowed. So King Molasses comes out in all black in a Tom of Finland inspired outfit with like fins on the bottom, like on their legs, and like I think pieces on the arm, and they have like this suit jacket, like a tux suit jacket that's encrusted and has like fish scales on it, but they take the jacket off very quickly, and they also have a ball gag on and like the little hat, and it's just like, this is not giving prom. You're not gonna get into the prom at all, girl. Not gonna happen. They're not gonna let you in. You look like a stripper. And then when they do the speech, they leave the ball gag in, which was a bad idea. Bad idea. Just give the speech. Don't like, it would have been funny for a second, but they like kept it in for like a while, like almost the whole thing. Like, and then they like redo what they were gonna say in their speech, like to the judges after the fact and critique. So it's just like a very interesting vibe. I would give this like maybe a 2, maybe a 1. I like, how do I score this? The only part of the brief that was met was that it has a nautical theme to it. Nothing else was met, so I'd say this is like under a 2, maybe a 1.5. It was really bad. So that's all of our kings, and this week I'm gonna talk about what happened first, and then talk about where I think they should have been as far as placements. So we see the judges discussing, and their tops for the week, what I can extrapolate from what they said, is that Henlo and Big D are the top 2, and obviously Henlo wins if you watch the episode. If not, here you are finding out now. Henlo wins the episode, which is fair. I agree with that. Big D did really good. I can see them in the top. And then I guess everyone else is just lower in the bottom because, and I'm calling out the bias. This is some bias here. Sasha Velour is talking about how she doesn't know who to pick from to be in the bottom between King Molasses, a DVD, and Percocets, which I find wild and crazy because you have Carmen Carrera, one of the judges this week, saying that Percocets did really, really good and could have just changed like one little thing, and that Dick Von Dyke did really good. It's just the outfit maybe wasn't the best. So how are you even comparing them in the same ballpark? And I'm assuming they're implying that they know Charles is in the bottom and that they don't know who to pick. And maybe this was just like for TV of it, you know, to get some camera time, to get a little bit of drama. But it's just like the bottom two is very obvious this episode. And we do end up getting the bottom two that I would agree with. So there is that. But it's just even like these critiques of like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's very clear who should be in the bottom. King Molasses probably did the worst this week. He couldn't have even gotten into the prom to give his speech. So I just don't I don't see how there's a comparison. But yeah, I would say Henlo is the winner for sure. And then in the top two, it would probably be Big D and DVD. They'd be my top two. And then Percocets would just be low because they maybe struggled a little bit in their speech, or I don't know. It depends on what you're weighing more. I think the runway is just important as your speech. And while Percocets' runway is a little bit better, I think DVD was more entertaining. And if y'all didn't give them a stipend for the runways, I can't judge the runways more than the performance. That's just not going to happen. So now that we have our bottom two, which is King Mo and Charles Galen King, their final thrust challenge is to do a cheer, do a high school cheerleader cheer. And they're given time to prepare for this. And I'm kind of in between on them. Really, the thing here is like, you know, they're not going to eliminate King Mo. He has 2 wins, and it's his first time in the bottom, I think. Yeah, it's his first time in the bottom. He has 2 wins. They also wanted to give him the win episode 3. So you know they weren't going to send him home. He's their front runner. So I don't know if it's gaggy or not to see him in the bottom, but I guess it's nice to know that they're not going to like fully save him. Oh, why my music's on? And Charles is in the bottom, and Charles gives the energy, but King Mo kind of gives like better rhymes. But you know they're not going to eliminate him, so it's not really worth discussing. Also, I don't like these final thrusts, different challenge every week type of thing. It's not the tea. I really feel like they should just do a lip sync for your life, because that's just like, everyone can prepare for that. Like, give them like a ton, like before the season starts, send them the list of songs. Have them bring little props or things that they know can really enhance the song so that they're prepared and they can do a song no matter what. Like, even if it's a song that they're not super great at, okay, well, at least they have a look and a concept prepared for that. But yeah, so we lose Charles this episode, which is really sad. But they didn't go out on a terrible note. At least they won that weenie challenge. And the first weenie challenge they also won. So there's that. But yeah, this was actually a much less rigged episode than some of the others. The placements I would agree with. It's just like the little comments I'm kind of confused by. It's like, what do you mean you can't pick between them? It's very clear who should be in the bottom. So yeah, that is all for this week's, or this episode of Review and Discuss with Flora. I guess we're just calling it that because I don't know what else to call it. If you'd like to go see how I did this makeup, go watch this video over here where I review About Face makeup, not sponsored. If you'd like to sponsor me, please sponsor me. But yeah, that's everything for today. If you liked my video, please go like below. Please comment what you thought on the thing. Please go watch King of Dragons Supported and support these drag kings. And I will see you in another video. Bye! And conclusion. Let the music play.